It seems like every sci-fi story is filled with aliens that just so happen to closely resemble humans in some way. Usually, any given new species will have clearly humanoid features, but maybe with some body paint or maybe some modelling clay jammed onto their foreheads to make them seem a bit more exotic. But every once in a while, the creators of one of the more self-aware story universes will go full on alien with the design of a completely new alien race. Usually it will be bug-like. So speaking of poorly constructed segues, let's talk about the Rachni. Being a distinct insectoid species, the Rachni are among the most diverse of all the known alien races in the Mass Effect universe. Unlike most species, whose biological diversity usually manifests in more subtle ways, such as different skin colours or patterns, the Rachni come in at least 4 different varieties. The most commonly known of these subtypes are the soldiers. Bearing 4 spiny legs, 2 small arms, and 2 highly flexible tentacle-like protrusions, the basic look of the soldier carries over to 2 of the other types of Rachni. Rachni live in underground nests, and the soldiers are tasked with protection. Rather slow but efficient, soldiers can attack enemies in multiple ways, including impaling with their tentacles and even using poisonous spit as a projectile. A lesser known but no less abundant form of Rachni is the worker. They are comparatively tiny, slightly larger than a human foot, and they carry the technical expertise of their species. Contrary to what one may think at first glance, the Rachni are fully sentient and have a high affinity for technology. Whether a datapad needs fixing or a starship needs building, the workers are the main labour force, not just for their tech knowledge, but also for attending to the needs of the Queen. They are not combat orientated, but if pressed, Rachni workers can charge enemies and explode in a suicide attack that covers the target and anyone else nearby in toxic goo. So next up is the elite fighter class of the Rachni, the Brood Warrior. Nearly identical to soldiers, warriors are larger, stronger, and only enter battle when the hive is in critical danger. When not kicking serious alien butt, however, this variety of male-only Rachni mate with the Queen when needed. You couldn't live a more primal life than that if you tried. Finally, there's the Queen herself. She is much larger than any of the other types of Rachni, and for good reason. A queen can lay enough eggs to create a colony in only a few days. While queens tend to mate exclusively with brood warriors, each queen carries the genetic information of their fathers inside herself, allowing for asexual reproduction. It could be argued that it's not really asexual since it still uses the genetic code of 2 individuals, but we'll call it asexual for now because we don't know what else to call it. Rachni are able to communicate through what can really only be described as organic quantum entanglement. Using this method, queens are able to issue orders to their entire colony at once and communicate across long distances. In battle, this is essential and it turns Rachni into a completely unified force, completely in sync with one another. It makes them terribly effective, which is what led to the Citadel Council turning to the Krogan for help during the Rachni War. So let's have a brief look at some history. Evolving on the harsh planet of Suen, the Rachni were exposed to intergalactic war before they even became a spacefaring species. During the time of the Prothean Empire, the Rachni were used as a fighting force by the Protheans. Through selective breeding, they were turned into brutally effective living weapons. Either through the selective breeding or perhaps their own natural evolution, the Rachni eventually became too much for the Protheans to handle. They turned on their masters, prompting the Protheans to attempt a full eradication of the Rachni species. After annihilating hundreds of worlds, the Protheans believed the threat to be eliminated. However, even though they hadn't fully evolved yet, the Rachni were too clever and cunning to be wiped out so easily, and they lived on. Since the rest of the galaxy believed them to be extinct, the Rachni were then free to advance as a society on their own terms. Their society quickly developed, resulting in many technological achievements as well as the discovery of Element Zero, the most important piece in the puzzle of Mass Effect fields and by extension FTL technology. However, it wasn't until a group of Solarian explorers found the planet Suen after activating a dormant mass relay that the Rachni, through reverse engineering the explorers' FTL drives after catching them, of course, were able to move about the galaxy on their own. Unfortunately, this led to a brutal conflict known as the Rachni Wars. The tragedy of this war was that, after the Rachni were discovered, the Citadel Council attempted to make contact with them, but were unable to do so since the Queens were completely unreachable in their underground nests. As a result, the Rachni were seen as a hostile race and the war began. After the efficiency of the Rachni forces proved too much for the Citadel races to handle, a relatively undeveloped race known as the Krogan were brought into the fray and, well, that's another story. Suffice it to say, the Rachni were finally pushed back. The war was finally over, and the Rachni appeared to be completely extinct, and we all know how well that went last time. Contrary to popular belief, the Rachni are not a warmongering race. True, they are notably territorial, keeping to themselves and periodically attacking any who discover them, but they don't seek out conflict. They simply wish to carve out their own way in the galaxy. Rachni see communication in an interesting way. To them, their communication goes together with music and colour, and they see both as more abstract concepts than they already are. Talking is seen as singing, and different colours are attributed to almost everything. It can even get more abstract than that, as a Rachni may refer to one's entire life as a song. It's rather difficult to understand, but let's just say that if the Rachni somehow became a Citadel race, Hana poetry readings would be seen as refreshingly simple. Okay, so some fun facts. The Rachni bear a relatively close resemblance to the arachnids from Starship Troopers. And, oh, that's it. The Rachni aren't fun. They're terrifying. We don't have a section for terrifying facts. So what do you think of the Rachni? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so go ahead and jot them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, or subscribe to us here at MassEffectFollower for more future videos like this. Other than that, have a great day everyone. Goodbye.